Some people can't even agree with themselves. Hey, I am Chuck the Bureaucrat, and one of the most common misconceptions of somebody entering work within the bureaucracy is the idea that all the different parts of that organization are working in sync and towards the same goal. That is not true. To an entry-level person, it's easy to get the perception that there is some single entity guiding all of the policies that you have to follow. In fact, it's often in your local leadership's interest to perpetuate that illusion. But as you rise higher and higher into the organization, you're apt to run into what we call the Hydra-Shiva problem. This combines the idea of the mythical multi-headed Hydra with the Hindu god Shiva, who's often depicted as having multiple arms. As you approach corporate headquarters, higher headquarters, what you see appears to be a being with many heads and many hands. But when you engage that behemoth, those heads and hands are not exactly working together. One head says to wear your PT gear. Another head says to wear a dress uniform. One head demands a report, but when you give it to one of the hands, that hand takes it off to an entirely different head. One head may tell you to do a task, while another hand smacks you for doing it. But so what? Aside from being a cute little anecdote, how does this help you actually succeed? Well, number one, there are plenty of reasons that people get frustrated with bureaucracy. But the Hydra-Shiva problem is a distinct source of frustration, and it helps to be able to separate the issues that it creates from other frustrations. Next, it helps to understand why the Hydra-Shiva problem arises in the first place. And I argue there are two ways of looking at it, one of them cynical, one optimistic. The cynical reason that the Hydra-Shiva problem crops up is because different sub-elements within the organization, they often disagree on how to move forward with a particular initiative. For example, you can easily imagine that right now there is some government organization who is overly excited to apply artificial intelligence as a panacea to all of the world's problems. And at the same time, there's another government agency who is just panic-stricken about all the security risks that artificial intelligence will create. You shouldn't be surprised that those two organizations are going to issue conflicting guidance about how best the government should use artificial intelligence. The more, positive view about how the Hydra-Shiva problem develops is that government agencies are given guidance that appears to be complementary, but inevitably results in conflict. A classic military dilemma is the tension that exists between generating current readiness and investing in future modernization. And so, if you can understand that the Hydra-Shiva problem is going to emerge, and how and why, you can avoid getting trapped between the grinding gears of bureaucracy. You can avoid taking the contradictions personally or emotionally. Additionally, once you find yourself inside the bureaucracy, you are going to contribute to the Hydra-Shiva problem. It's inevitable. You'll be on one side of an issue, facing off against somebody who has an entirely different set of goals and assumptions and means of getting things done. And when this happens, you get a choice. You can be the kind of bureaucrat who does the hard work to hammer out a solution that avoids contradictions. Or you can just scatter contradictory guidance across the organization and leave it for the lower level people to sort out. At the end of the day, embracing your responsibility for the way things are, it helps make the world a better place. And if you want to see why you should be very careful when you hear people say, "Well, that's the way we've always done it," watch this video.